Welcome to Learning Adda. In the shadow of the crown. Once upon a time, there was a wise and kind queen named Queen Eleanor. She ruled a large and peaceful kingdom alongside her husband, King Harold. For many years, they had led their people through good times and difficult times. They were loved by everyone for their wisdom and fairness. But now, the years had passed, and both the queen and king had grown old. Their once dark hair had turned white, and their faces showed the lines of many years of hard work and worry. Queen Eleanor often thought about the crown she wore. It was a beautiful crown, made of gold and covered in sparkling jewels. But to her, the crown was more than just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol of great power, but also a reminder of the heavy responsibility she had carried for so many years. The crown looked bright and shiny on the outside, but to the queen, it often felt heavy and tiring. She knew that soon, it would be time to pass the crown on to someone younger. King Harold understood his wife's feelings. They often sat together in their grand castle, watching the sun set over the kingdom they had ruled for so long. "Do you remember when we were young?" King Harold asked one evening as they sat in the royal garden. "Back then, we had no crown, no kingdom to care for, no heavy responsibilities. We were free." Queen Eleanor smiled softly, remembering those days. "Yes, those were simpler times. But we knew that one day we would have to take the throne. We have served our people well, Harold. But now, it is time to prepare our son to take on the duties we have carried." Their son, Prince Thomas, was a young man full of energy and hope. He dreamed of adventure and exploration. He often spoke of traveling to faraway lands, seeing new places, and living a life full of excitement. To him, the crown was just something beautiful, a sign of power and greatness. He did not yet understand the true meaning behind it, the weight that came with wearing it. One day, Queen Eleanor asked Prince Thomas to join her in her private chamber. The room was quiet, filled with the history of the kingdom. Old paintings of kings and queens who had ruled before hung on the walls, their faces serious and wise. On a small table in the center of the room sat the crown, shining in the light. Queen Eleanor motioned for her son to sit beside her. "My son," she said softly, "one day, this crown will be yours. You will sit on the throne as your father and I have, and you will rule this kingdom. But before that day comes, there are things you must understand." Prince Thomas looked at the crown with wide eyes, full of excitement. "I am ready, mother. I will be a great king, just like you and father. I will make the people love me, and I will make our kingdom even greater." But Queen Eleanor shook her head. Being a great king is not just about wearing the crown and sitting on the throne. It is not about being loved or making the kingdom great. It is about understanding the weight of responsibility that comes with this crown. You must care for the people, make hard choices, and sometimes give up your own happiness for the good of the kingdom. Prince Thomas frowned in confusion. "But why must I give up my happiness? Can't I be a great king and still live the life I want?" Just then, King Harold entered the room. He had been listening to the conversation from the doorway. "Happiness as a king," he said in a calm voice, "comes from serving your people. It comes from knowing that you have done what is right for them, even when it is difficult." Thomas looked between his parents, his excitement slowly turning into worry. But how will I know what is right? How will I know what the people need? Queen Eleanor smiled gently and stood up, picking up the crown from the table. She held it for a moment before placing it carefully on her son's head. Feel the weight of the crown, Thomas, she said softly. It is not just gold and jewels. It is the weight of the decisions you will make, the lives of the people you will protect, and the sacrifices you will have to endure. The crown is a symbol of your duty to the kingdom, and it is heavier than it seems. Thomas sat still as the crown rested on his head. He had always thought the crown was light, something to wear with pride. But now, with it placed upon him, he felt its weight for the first time. It was as if the lives of all the people in the kingdom rested on his shoulders. For the first time, he understood what his parents had been trying to tell him. The crown was not just a shiny object of power, it was a symbol of the hard work, the responsibility, and the sacrifices that came with being a ruler. The shadow of the crown stretched far and wide, covering not just the throne, but every part of a king's life. After that day, Prince Thomas began to change. He spent less time dreaming about adventures and more time learning from his parents. He attended meetings with the kingdom's advisors, listened to the problems of the people, and helped make decisions that would benefit everyone. Slowly, he began to understand the true meaning of leadership. Years passed, and when the time came for Queen Eleanor and King Harold to step down, Prince Thomas was ready. He was crowned King Thomas in a grand ceremony, with the entire kingdom watching. As he stood before the people, the crown resting on his head, he no longer felt the excitement he once did. Instead, he felt a deep sense of duty. King Thomas ruled wisely and fairly, just as his parents had. He always remembered the lessons they had taught him, that the crown was more than just a symbol of power, it was a reminder of his duty to the people. Under his rule, the kingdom flourished, and the people loved him just as they had loved his parents. And so, in the shadow of the crown, King Thomas found not just power, but purpose. He understood that true happiness did not come from adventure or personal desires, but from serving others and doing what was right. The crown may have cast a shadow, but within that shadow, King Thomas found the light of responsibility, love, and duty. Thank you for watching.